Remember what I told you, right?
Yeah,
Bless him.
it's called man business.
What began as a rap feud turned into a personal conflict. 50 Cent turned a music feud into a stunning, viral altercation by entangling T.I.'s family in the conflict. Millions watched as the struggle moved from the stage to something much more intense. Lines were crossed, and respect was broken. The fuse was ignited by the spark. Let's go back to the beginning, since this wasn't something that just happened, like some unsubstantiated online story. No, the conflict between T.I. and 50 Cent brewed for many years, mostly connected to discussions regarding a possible Versus conflict that never materialized. Versus was the live-streamed hit-for-hit competition series that had the entire culture ensnared during the pandemic. For those in the back who are unaware, we saw some iconic fights, everyone on Instagram Live arguing over catalogs, and at one point the notion of 50 Cent and T.I. facing off was definitely a genuine chat. Now, Tip claims that this wasn't only a hearsay from a blog or something a fan made up on Twitter. He claims that they actually had a face-to-face argument about doing this. T.I. the Versus topic allegedly came up organically when they were both in Los Angeles practicing some TV techniques, as if it were the inevitable next move. Bro, this, and I spoke back there.
Me and this talk back there, bro. Yeah, I ain't just called the blue.
Yes, it's not anything I just called out. Furthermore, Tip wasn't being evasive either. He outlined the entire scenario, including how the dialogue proceeded, how they both decided on the strategy, and how he was meant to go first and set the table.
I said, what you think about that? He like, you wanna do that? Say yes.
Then Tip shattered the agreement. He informed 50 that he would go out first, create a lot of excitement and buzz in the streets, and then 50 would follow him and validate everything. You mean it's easy? Enough to run? Simple. No mirrors, no smoke.
And I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna jump out there first, and then you just gonna jump out there and we'll line it up. And he said, all right.
However, this is where everything went wrong. T.I. claims that 50 Cent changed his tone after he went public and began spreading the word, acting as though he had no idea what was going on and that all of the discussions were a fiction of Tip's imagination or something.
And when I jump out there, like he ain't know what the going on.
And that is the very time that T.I. claims that their relationship ended permanently. Not because 50 was unwilling to fight. Tip stated that he would have been okay with 50 simply saying, "Nah bro, I'm good on that. I don't want to rock with it. Honor the honesty. Continue to move." The snake move, however, was that 50 allegedly dapped him up, consented to the entire thing, and then pretended to be silly when it was time to pull up.
Then that's what it was about. All of it. I don't even want to, man, cause now I question your character.
The treachery was that. Let me now explain this in the appropriate context. T.I. didn't only mention this in passing during a single broadcast. No, family. He spoke with his entire chest on a variety of platforms, such as the $1 million worth of game podcast. He made it clear to the world that he had no interest in performing alongside 50 Cent. The chapter was closed.
I don't want to stand on stage with him. I had no interest in standing on stage with that.
He then dropped the bar, which truly set the tone for everything that followed.
I don't respect him.
Since Curtis Jackson is not the kind of person who simply takes it personally when someone says, "I don't respect you," on a podcast. You already know what time it was if you know anything about 50 Cent. I mean, anything at all about how this man gets down. His steez isn't that. His steez has never been that. And let's keep it stacked, family, because the receipts on that date back literally decades. All of 50 Cent's beefs follow the same pattern, and he has been running up on people his entire career. It builds until one side taps out or gets completely burned after someone says something slick and 50 fires back. The play is that. The play has always been that way. The wild part is that everyone has said something crazy about Curtis Jackson III. From Rick Ross to Diddy to the J. Rule conflict back in 1999 to the game scenario in the middle of the 2000s. These feuds occasionally began over the smallest of issues. Consider the case of Rick Ross. When Tony Yayo, a 50s Day 1 G Unit soldier, sat down on Club Shay Shay, he explained exactly how the whole thing began.
Ross and 50, right? Ross is not, they got a beef because 50 didn't say what up to him. That's just a New York thing.
That's it, family. It was just that. Years of personal digs and diss recordings resulted from a man's silence during an award show. That is the ecosystem in which we function. Thus, when T.I. When he publicly stated on national venues that he didn't respect 50 Cent as a man, there was no possibility that he would be reacted to. Nothing. 50 Cent told T.I. on Instagram to keep my name out of your lips and began criticizing Atlanta artists for their erratic support. What had been a back-and-forth discussion about a music fight suddenly turned into something far more explosive. 50 Cent began reaching into the bag, the same bag he has been reaching into for more than 25 years anytime someone chooses to prod the bear and see what happens, as the temperature and energy varied. Because this is what people need to know about. Fifth, this man doesn't just come for you when he decides to do so. He targets anything inside your sphere of influence. Your past, your skeletons, your career, your representative, and yes, your family. When he obtained a full video with Ross's baby mama, he did it to Rick Ross. When he began creating documentaries on Diddy's personal life, he did it to him. And he was going to do it to T.I. in February 2026. In the most intimate, the most demeaning, and the most underhanded manner imaginable. And it leads us to the point at when everything was turned upside down. The incident that escalated a rap feud into a full-fledged family conflict. Because 50 Cent made a move on February 22nd, 2026, that put the internet into a frenzy. And to be honest, if you've been following this man's behavior, you should have anticipated it when the operations became personal. Before we discuss what happened next, you must know who we are referring to when we mention King Harris's mother. For Tamika, Tiny Harris is more than just T.I.'s spouse. She is not merely an ordinary citizen who became entangled in a rap feud that she had nothing to do with. Grammy-winning singer Tiny Harris is a member of the iconic R&B group Xscape, which was selling out performances and moving units when half of the people commenting on Instagram posts weren't even a thing in their parents' thoughts. She wed T.I. returned in 2010, and the two of them created a family that now includes their 2004-born son, King Harris. Thus, this woman has her own bag, legacy, and awards, all of which are entirely unrelated to the relationship between her husband and the man from South Jamaica, Queens. And for good reason. What 50 did next made the internet go crazy. Because 50 Cent uploaded a crazy, disparaging picture of Tiny Harris directly on his Instagram on February 22nd, 2026. And I'm being really tactful when I say unflattering. The picture featured Tiny during a concert wearing a skimpy outfit with her skirt pushed up in a way that was clearly intended to make her look foolish and irritate T.I. Additionally, the caption, which was 50, reiterated what he had been saying the entire time. Keep my name out of your mouth. I say it repeatedly. Alright, the response to this was immediate and as loud as a siren. It was instantly criticized by websites like Hot New Hip Hop and Complex, which described the move as the beef becoming dirty and personal, and pointed out that it went against the unspoken standards that have been a part of hip-hop culture since the beginning of time. I'm referring to the coding that allows you to make fun of a man's bars. His street cred can be questioned. You can spend all day criticizing his professional choices, but you don't include his lady in the matter. You shouldn't drag someone else's rib into a fight that she didn't start and wasn't involved in. However, 50 Cent has never been one to follow the unspoken rules of others. Additionally, he is part of his identity, if we keep it all quirky. When he decides to go to war with you, the man has established his entire empire on the tenet that there are no boundaries, no sacred ground, and no region that is off limits. And because of that mindset, he is among the most deadly individuals to be at odds with in this game's history. And that leads us to King Harris. You were completely mistaken if you believed that 50's publishing of the image of Tiny was the trigger. It was only the fuse lighting. The real explosion came directly from King Harris, who was born in August 2004, and is T.I. and Tiny's son, a young rapper who has gained notoriety for being quite combative on social media. This young bull has spent his entire existence in the spotlight, having grown up seeing his parents deal with the highest levels of drama and celebrity on reality TV. He didn't even take a breath when he saw what 50 Cent had posted about his mother. He failed to count to 10. No one was consulted by him. He showed up at the gram without hesitation. King went live on Instagram to defend his mother in a frank and profanity-filled tirade. His words were so forceful, so raw, and so deeply below the belt that they sent shockwaves through the internet. I need you all to pay close attention to what King said because he didn't only criticize rapper 50 Cent. He targeted more than simply TV producer and businessman 50 Cent. He went to see the orphan 50 Cent. He targeted Curtis Jackson's most serious injury. He kept bringing up 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who died when Curtis was just 8 years old in a suspicious fire. On camera, King instructed 50 to go dig up his deceased mother. "This where your mama at." He shared a picture of a gravestone with the message, "This where your mama at." He called Sabrina Jackson derogatory names, so insulting that I won't even repeat them in this video. He then made the analogy that he believed gave him the upper hand. He referred to Tiny as a legend, a Grammy winner, and a queen. And he juxtaposed all of that with the most repulsive portrayal of 50's late mother you can think of. In a matter of hours, it all went stupidly viral. Millions of people watched the clips on YouTube and Instagram Reels as they attempted to comprehend what they had just seen a 21-year-old say live. This is where the internet comes in, isn't it? People quickly take sides when something like this occurs. On this one, opinions on the internet were divided. There were people on one side who said King had every right to ride for his mother in that way, that you have every right to go nuclear if a clown publicly insults your mother. On the other hand, there were many who said that discussing a man's deceased mother, a woman who passed away while he was still a tiny child, crosses a boundary that should never be crossed, for a period. Complete halt. The insanity of how quickly things had escalated was aptly expressed by one analyst who broke down the scenario.
Technical fouls on everybody, okay? Like, how did we get here from a versus battle?
Everyone receives a technical foul. All right. Hey, how did we get here? From a versus battle? Is a great question to ask because, in a matter of days, we went from two originals arguing about a music competition to tombstone photos, dead mothers, and family members being pulled through the digital muck.
We just wanted 20 songs versus 20 songs. Now we got people, being called federal informants.
And the part that took everyone by surprise was the families.
And people's wives and mothers being insulted. Like, how did all this escalate so quickly?
Whether you agree with the move or not, 50 Cent's intensity was not comparable to King's. He's not going to yell into his phone's camera live. He didn't upload a tearful 20-minute tirade. No. Anytime someone approaches him hot, 50 Cent always does what he does. He made the matter seem inconsequential. 50 made fun of King by posting a Pepe the Frog meme on the gram with the simple comment, LOL, without even using words. The youngin' is being laughed at by a cartoon frog. That was it. That was the entire answer. And since the message was so obvious, if you've been following Fifth's operations for the past 20+ years, you know the answer was more damaging than any tirade or diss song could ever be. Little bro, you're not even worth getting mad at. The entire timeline was rocked by the footage that followed. 50 Cent posted an AI-edited video clip from the 2006 film ATL, which originally starred T.I., and it was the one that truly had folks sit up in their chairs and think, oh, Fifth is on demon time, himself. Additionally, a character that rolls up on a young cat in this footage has 50's face deep-faked onto them, and the conversation was pointed like a laser directly at King Harris.
What's up, man? I ain't heard from you in a while.
Checking. In a very casual manner, as if he had not seen his little homie in a long time. Very casual about it. The topic of discussion then turns to something far more moving. Grown-up company. 4 words that encapsulated the entire message.
Remember what I told you, right?
Yeah,
What else?
it's called man business.
Go back, little brother. You're not in this lane. You're not in this weight class. Remain where you are. After that, the video ends with a finale that was simultaneously hilarious and menacing.
Boom! Ooh, got your ass. Scary as hell, man.
That's it, family. It was just that. Years of personal digs and diss recordings resulted from a man's silence during an award show. That is the ecosystem in which we function. Thus, when T.I. When he publicly stated on national venues that he didn't respect 50 Cent as a man, there was no possibility that he would be reacted to. Nothing. 50 Cent told T.I. on Instagram to keep my name out of your lips and began criticizing Atlanta artists for their erratic support. What had been a back-and-forth discussion about a music fight suddenly turned into something far more explosive. 50 Cent began to delve into that sack as the energy and temperature altered. Every time someone chooses to prod the bear and see what happens, he has been reaching into the same bag for more than 25 years, because this is what people need to know about Fif. This man doesn't just come for you when he decides to do so, he targets anything inside your sphere of influence. Your past, your skeletons, your career, your representative, and yes, your family. When he obtained a full video with Ross's baby mama, he did it to Rick Ross. When he began creating documentaries on Sean Combs' personal life, he did it to him. And he was going to do it to T.I. in February 2026, in the most intimate, the most demeaning, and the most underhanded manner imaginable. And it leads us to the point at when everything was turned upside down. The incident that escalated a rap feud into a full-fledged family conflict, because 50 Cent made a move on February 26, 2026, that put the internet into a frenzy. And to be honest, if you've been following this man's behavior, you should have anticipated it when the operations became personal. Before we discuss what happened, next, you must know who we are referring to when we mention King Harris's mother. On the other hand, there were many who said that discussing a man's deceased mother, a woman who passed away while he was still a little short, breaches a boundary that should never be crossed. For a period. Complete halt. The ridiculousness of how quickly things had gotten out of hand was nicely encapsulated by one analyst who broke it down. Technical fouls on everybody. For example, how did we get here from a Versus battle?
Hey boy, T.I. has never lost his rapping mojo. You hear me?
And that's exactly right, because in a matter of days, we went from two pioneers arguing about a music competition to tombstone photos, deceased mothers, and family members being pulled through the digital dirt.
Folks just didn't care for whatever reason, but Dime Trap and The Libra and Us or Else and Trouble Man, Heavy as the Head, all those were dope albums.
Whether you agree with the move or not, 50 Cent's intensity was not comparable to King's. He's not going to yell into his phone's camera live. He didn't upload a tearful 20-minute tirade. When someone comes at him hot, 50 Cent always does what he does.
But T.I. has never slacked lyrically or musically. Y'all just care now, and I'm actually happy y'all do.
Now T.I. back to spit.
He made the matter seem inconsequential, made fun of King by posting a Pepe the Frog meme on the gram with the simple remark, LOL, without even using words. The youngin is being laughed at by a cartoon frog. That was it. That was the entire answer. And since the message was so clear, you're not even worth getting upset. Over. Little bro, that response was more devastating than any tirade or diss album ever could have been. As anyone who has followed Fif's operations over the past 2 or more decades knows, the entire timeline was rocked by the footage that followed. Fif is on Demon Time was the one that truly got folks to pay attention. An AI-edited video clip from the 2006 film ATL, which starred T.I., was posted by 50 Cent himself. The language in this clip was directed like a laser straight at King Harris, while 50's face was deep-faked onto a character that rolls up on a young kitten. Extremely casual. As an OG who hasn't seen his little homie in a minute, I'm checking in. Very casual about it. After that, the topic of discourse becomes much more pointed. Grown man enterprise. 4 words that encapsulated the entire message. Go back, little brother. You're not in this lane. You're not in this weight class. Remain where you are. Grown man boy was the only caption on the joint. In that one motion, 50 Cent had weaponized AI technology and flipped a movie that T.I. He played the lead role and gave a speech that was simultaneously funny and subtly menacing. It was referred to as genius-level trolling by some. Some referred to it as eerie and expensive. The most important thing, though, is that everyone was discussing it. And with Fif, that has always been the entire play. He doesn't have to prevail in the ethical argument. All he has to do is win the game of attention. And he continues to be unbeaten at that.
Like, you know, going back and forth in the studio, cool, but when it starts going left and right, it's like, ah.
You may have assumed that things were going to slow down at this point. However, no. It was only the beginning of the smoke.
Because honestly, what his wife got to do with anything? You know, the family thing. It's just weird. Them 2 brothers got a problem.
T.I. entered 50's original Tiny Post's comment section, and his answer was precisely what one could anticipate from a man whose wife had just been assaulted online in front of millions of people. He publicly supported his son on Instagram stories before hitting the lab, like MCs do when they get high. T.I. created and released the song War, which was a direct attack on 50's personality, background, and entire reputation.
That's what y'all gonna do. But the moment you bring somebody's family into it, it gets crazy. So I totally understand why King went off.
The bars were jagged. It was seasoned in its delivery. And everyone was reminded of why T.I. being discussed for more than 2 decades. King Harris, meanwhile, was not finished. In order to add fuel to the fire, he shared old court footage of 50 Cent confessing to assault charges during a concert along with inflammatory subtitles. Like a prosecutor presenting evidence, he laid out 50's most contentious events in detail, including his sales war with Kanye West for graduation, public feuds, political controversies, and alienation with his son Marquise Jackson. Then, by blogging about 50's younger son Sire Jackson, he went too far and brought a child into a scenario in which he had no role. And even some of King's fans felt uneasy about that. Because this was no longer about music at that point. Pride wasn't the issue. It had nothing to do with Verzu's arguments. Family wounds were being torn apart in public for engagement. King released a comprehensive diss track on February 25th that was intended to bury 50 Cent. As usual, 50 remained unconcerned in public, concentrating on business, Broadway endeavors, repeating memes, and sustaining harassment without ever coming across as shaken.
If you had an altercation or you did something to me that made me feel like I had to get you, I wouldn't stop.
Typical Fifth conduct. Keep your perspiration hidden from them. Indeed, there is a distinction between amusement and something far more sinister than Instagram posts and rap bars.
Until I got you. You see what I'm saying? Because then we stopped the rap. Done rapping, we start doing something else.
I appreciate you watching. To view more videos like this one, click on one of the boxes that is currently playing on your screen.